Good morning and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Michael Kelly. I'm a technical sales engineer at Esri Ireland. This is a re-recording of a webinar that was produced earlier today. A PDF of these slides are available and you can look in the comments below to find them. Now there's not too many slides to this, but this is the agenda for today. I'm going to briefly discuss the licensing associated with ArcGIS Pro, and then I'm going to just give a brief overview of the interface and project content in ArcGIS Pro, how to produce custom maps, charts, layouts and tasks, and at the end there'll be a Q&A. So just to start with it, ArcGIS for desktop, ArcGIS Pro is part of ArcGIS Desktop, and when it started, you needed a named user license that you would get with your ArcGIS Desktop license, and you would validate that through ArcGIS Online. With the latest release, however, you can use your single-use and concurrent use licenses, as with ArcMap. But yeah, you still have the option of using a named user and licensing through ArcGIS Online. Pro adoption is growing rapidly, and it's something I use. I try to use where I can. It's really nice interface, really nice to use, and I find it a bit more intuitive than ArcMap. But that being said, there are things that can be done in ArcMap that can't be done in ArcGIS Pro, and I revert to ArcMap when necessary. So we'll go straight into a demo of ArcGIS Pro. So I'm just going to share my screen. Let me have a quick look here. Yeah, so you can see my screen now of ArcGIS Pro. So I'm going to create a new project here by clicking blank. So this is going to create a blank project template. I'm going to name it ArcGIS Pro Webinar. This is going to create an ArcGIS Pro project. And what a project contains is maps, toolboxes, databases, folder connections, and so you can have multiple maps. It will include layouts and tasks. So I'm going to import a task that I'm going to use for this presentation, but I'm going to view it on a different screen. So I'm just going to bring this over here. So this is just something I'm going to follow through myself. Okay, so bring this over here. Okay, so we're ready to go now. What I want to start is by just going through the ribbon-based interface. So it's very similar to Microsoft Office. You can see the ribbon-based interface here, and you have various tabs that give you different options. In these tabs you have groups of items, which you can edit and customize as you please. If you click in the bottom right corner of group. There are also contextual tabs. So if you create a map, so I'm going to right click on map and click new map. If I click on the imagery layer here, you'll see a new tab appears up here called appearance. And so basically the idea is that you only see the tools that you need, and this can be quite useful. You can also alter the user face elements, so you can dock this so it hides, and then you can open it, but it hides when you move to something else, as you can do with the project. You can also move it around, so if you wanted it to show on the top right screen, the top of the screen, or to the left, you can do so, and then they can dock together as well. So if I pin that, can put them together, and you'll see both of them are there. And of course you can put these into different screens if you want, depending on your preferences. Now you'll notice that I'm logged into my Esri Ireland account, and that's because I've used my named user license, and I have an ArcGIS Pro license associated with that named user. Now I just want to briefly go through the project content. So when you create a project, various maps are created. Now it's empty at the moment, but you can create as many maps as you want in here. So these are pretty much equivalent to your MXC, but you can add in more stuff. You can also have multiple layouts. Now we've no layouts in here at the moment, but they can be added at a later stage. In terms of the databases, a 5-year database is created by default with the project, and you can add in your points, your feature class for points, lines and polygons, or whatever kind of data you want to add into that database. And when you have this, you can share your project template. So if you have lots of different folder connections and database connections, you can share these as a project template, and the next time you go to create a project, these will be included. So they'll appear as if they were a blank global scene, local scene, or map. So what I'm going to start out with is the ArcGIS Online. So I'm logged into ArcGIS Online here with my Esri Ireland credentials. And what I'm going to do is add in a service to this web map. I'm going to rename it. I'm going to zoom into Galway, and I'm going to change the transparency. After that, I'm going to save the map. I'm going to save it to my ArcGIS Pro webinar folder, and I'll call this ArcGIS Pro webinar web map. And I'll save that map. Now I'll go back into ArcGIS Pro. I'll go to my project, to my portal, and I can search in there for ArcGIS Pro. And there's my web map. So I'm going to add and open this map. This will add the map to my project folder. So if I go into my project folder here, you can see it's been added into my maps. And there's a little sync item here to indicate that it is synced with the web map in ArcGIS Online. Okay, so what I'm going to do is add in another layer into this map through ArcGIS Online. I'm going to add layer from web and add that and turn off the existing layer. Save that. And if I go back into ArcGIS Pro, I can right click on the existing map and sync it. And so this will delete the current map and resync it so it is the same as the ArcGIS Online web map. And you'll notice that in the contents we have the health layer turned on and the commute greater than 60 minutes turned off. But I'm going to just remove the health layer because I don't want it, and turn on the commute greater than 60 minutes. And I'm going to filter this layer. So I'm going to add in the definition query. I'm going to add a couple of clauses here. So this is similar to what you can do in ArcGIS Online or in ArcMap. And I'm going to click OK. And so now a lot of those layers will be turned off and we have a selection of them. So I'm going to change the symbolization on this now to a single layer, a single symbol. I'm going to change the symbol to be pink. And I like to have my project folder over here, so I'm going to move that here. Okay, so I'm going to save that. And what I want to do is create my own base map. So I'm going to create a new base map. I'm going to click Insert, click the drop down beside New Map, and click New Base Map. Now this is an empty base map, so I'm going to connect to MapGenie. So I want to use OSI's base maps. So I'm going to connect into their server. Paste that in there and put in my credentials. So you notice that that server connection is added into my project pane, and I can open that server and see what kind of data is on it. What I want to use is the ITM services for MapGenie Premium. I'm going to add that to the current map. I'm going to call this ITM Base Map Premium. And rename the base map as MapGenie. OSI MapGenie. Okay, I'm going to save that. And I'll go back into my webinar, the web map here. And this is actually a map in my project now. But I'm going to change the base map in it to the base map I just created. What this is loading now is all the base maps in my organization. But I don't want to use any of these. I want to create my own one. Of course, you could overlay whatever layers you want in the base map here. What I'd like to highlight at this stage as well is that there's quite a few services available from Esri themselves. For example, elevation, hydro, traffic, logistics, and geocode services. So they're worth looking at if they are of interest to you. And so you can add those as a connection in here, and they'll appear in your server list. So you log in with your ArcGIS Online credentials, and then they'll appear, and you can use whatever services you want from those. So you'll notice that this is also added into my maps folder, my base map, but it's also being used as a base map in my map. So now what I'm going to do is get a data set from GeoHive. Go to make your map. I'm going to get a list of the primary schools in Ireland and go to the REST endpoint. So what I want to do is publish this into ArcGIS Online and then edited through ArcMap. So therefore I'm creating a version of this data myself. So I'm going to query this data so it returns everything. So I'm asking where 1 is equal to 1, return all the outfields, and I'm going to return it as JSON. Then I'm going to copy this and paste it into a text document and store it in my project. I'm going to store it as primary schools in Ireland. .json, so this will save as a JSON file. And then I'm going to go back into ArcGIS Pro and I'm going to run a tool. And this tool will convert this JSON into, sorry, wrong one. This will return the JSON, it'll put it into a feature class in my project database. So I'll select my input JSON, and you can see here it's been added to my the webinar that was created with my project. I'm going to run that tool. And once that's done, so that's completed successfully as you can see, and that's been added into my ArcGIS Pro webinar 5G database. This can be quite handy to look at your geoprocessing history. So any geoprocessing that you've completed in the project gets saved into your geoprocessing history, and you can open it to see any of the parameters that you use. This can be pretty useful if you want to look back on what you've done. Okay, so what I want to do now just briefly change the symbology of the schools. And I want to show you how to publish this to ArcGIS Online. So you can right click on it and click Share as Web Layer. This will open up a new pane and you can publish that. So you just need to put in a summary and tags and configure it as you want. So this will enable you to edit the data online, and you can enable sync and data export as well if needs be. And so to publish this, you simply click Publish. I've published it already, so I'm going to go to my portal. So this is my ArcGIS Online, and I'm going to search for primary schools in Ireland. I want to add this in as a layer. And the reason for this is that I just want to show that it's possible to edit data from an ArcGIS Online feature service. So if I go into edit here, you can see that you're allowed to edit this data. So I'm going to select it. Okay, what I might do first is just save the project, close it. Seems to be just a little bit slow there. I'll open it again. And now I'll try to select it. Okay, so that's been selected now. I'll go to my attributes pane and I'll change the total enrolled to 192. So now I'll go to ArcGIS Online and look for object ID 255. So 522, I can just filter for that. And you'll see that's been updated to 192. So I'll revert it now to 191. So that's been updated now. I can go back to ArcGIS Online, refresh that, and that's been reverted to 191. You can also see that I've edited it because I've enabled that when I publish the layer. Okay, so that was the reason I took the data from GeoHive and published it myself. It was so I could show the live editing of feature services from ArcGIS Pro. But I'm going to remove that now and just revert to a local copy just for performance. I'll save that. So now I'm just going to go through the different ways of displaying the data. So if I select the primary schools in Ireland layer, go to appearance and symbology, this will give you various options. So I've already selected this schools symbol. You could change this to graduated colours. So in the data set there is a data enrolled field, and this contains a number of students in each school. So that's how this data is displayed at the moment. You can change the methods and the classes and the colour scheme as necessary. You can also use graduated symbols. And you can now use a heat map renderer as well. So this is very similar to what you have in ArcGIS Online, whereby you can just put in a point feature class and it will display that data in a heat map. That's quite nice in that you can customize the color scheme as you need to. So for each color here I'm going to alter the transparency. Okay, and so there we have the transparency added in there. So now you'll just see the layers that are the various highlighted hotspots. Okay, so I'm going to remove this layer and show it in 3D now as well. I'm going to save that map. Close some of these tabs and insert a new scene. So this is just loading a default scene from ArcGIS Online. And you can see it's been added into my maps here as well. I'm going to change the base map to Map Genie. And there's my Map Genie in a scene. So I'm going to click on press B on the keyboard just to zoom up. So this allows you to look around. So I can move around as I want and zoom in. I can use the N button and that will bring you to north. So any stage you can press N and it'll just alter your view to the north. And I can also use P, and this looks perpendicular, so it'll look down. In this case, the way I want to display it is something like this. So you see a nice horizon in the background. I'm going to make sure it's north as well. I'm now going to add a preset layer. So these are preset 3D layers that you can use to display your data. I'm going to connect into my database and get my primary schools in Ireland layer. So the first thing I want to do is clear the limits so I can actually see the data. And then I'm going to get my standing cylinders. So this is the thematic shape that I'm going to use. I'm going to color using the total enrolled field in the data. And I'm going to change the color scheme so it varies from yellow to red. I'm also going to change the height, so I use the total enrolled and I'm going to scale it by 10. And so now you'll see a standing cylinder for each point and how many people are enrolled in it, as well as using the color ramp. So I'm going to save that. And now I'm going to compare that with another map. I'm going to open this ArcGIS Pro web map. I'm going to move it to the right hand side. So we're viewing the map side by side. Next thing I'm going to do is link the views. So now these two views are linked. So I can move around on this, zoom in and zoom out. And I can do the same in the scene. And I will update where I am on the map in both map views. So this can be quite useful if you're comparing data. Okay, so that's what I wanted to show in terms of creating a custom map. What I'd like to do now is create some charts based on the data. So I want to do this from the scene. I'm just going to just vary this a little bit, make it north so you can actually view the data. I'm going to create a chart. So I've clicked on the layer, and then you have these contextual tabs that appear. I'll click on data and create chart. And this time I'm going to create a histogram. So I'm going to set my x-axis to total enrolled, and now you can view your histogram as a chart. So if I select any of these, you'll notice that some points in the map are selected. And similarly, if I select some of these on the map, the associated bar is highlighted in the chart. You can vary the number of bins as you want, and it will update. And you can change the X and Y axis as needs be. I'm going to create a bar chart now as well, the same data. This time the x-axis is going to be of school type, and the y-axis is going to be the total enrolled. And it's going to be the sum of the total enrolled. So I'm going to just clear that selection. I can change the x-axis as I want. And I can group, if I want to group some of the layers, I can add in a group layer. So these will view the data side by side with two different variables. And of course you can edit your X and Y axis and give a description and title for the chart. Okay, so I'm going to save the project now. And I just want to show you where the charts are actually stored. So if I go into charts here, I can list it by charts. So for each layer, you will see the associated charts, and you can save as many as you want. When we're on this, there's a number of different categories here that you can view the data by. For example, you can change the edit data. So if you don't want this layer to be editable, you can turn that off. And so if you have multiple layers, this can be useful. You can also do so for snapping and for listing by selection and by source. Okay, so the next thing I want to go through is layouts. So I want to create a layout for my a new layout for my maps. I'm going to create an A4 one. Now the first thing I want to do is add in some guides. So the ruler here is already shown, but I have no guides. So I'm going to right click on the ruler and click add guides. From here I'll click orientation both. I'd say offset from edge and click 10. So this is going to show an offset of 10 millimeters from each side. I'm also going to add a center orientation, so it will show guides for the middle of the page. So I'll save that, and I'll add in some maps. So the first map I'm going to add in is a scene. The scene that I just created is going to be added in here. And there we go. So I'm gonna activate that map now, so I can alter the extent and how it's going to be viewed. So I want to show the horizon in the background. I want to make sure it's north, and that's about right where I want to show it. Okay, so I will close that activation of the map, and we'll go back into the layout view, and I'm going to lock that map because I'm happy with how that is displayed. I'm going to add in another map frame, and this time I'm going to use the web map that I've created, which is now part of the project. It's a map in the project. I'm going to design this so that it's actually a circle. So I'm going to click Design pane, reshape to a circle, and put this in the middle here, and create a circle that I want. Okay, so I'm going to move that down slightly. And I'm going to activate that now so I can alter the way the data inside it is viewed. You'll notice that you can turn on and off layers here, and it's very similar to the way you would view the map. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to close the activation, and I'm going to lock that. So next I want to add in a title to my map. So I'm going to add in some dynamic text and use the map frame name. So this is added in here. I'm going to move it to the top and make it a little bit bigger. Okay, and I'm going to format the text so it's white. So that displays nicely in the background. And I want to add in a little paragraph around here. So I'm going to insert, so I'll lock that text, the title text, and I will include, I'm going to change this so I am just showing a paragraph. And then I'm going to add in some text, but I'm going to use a polygon, so I want to just go around this a little bit. Okay, so that's the way I want my data in there, and I can paste in my text then. I just have some lorem ipsum there. Copy and paste that, and I can apply that, and that will be formatted in the same polygon that I just created. So I'll lock that now as well, and there's my finished map. So I can now share that, and I can export it as PDF or picture, whatever kind of format you want to export it as. So you'll notice that I can still create more layouts. So I can have multiple layouts associated with this project, and you can import whatever. You can have your own custom page sizes, etc., and customize them as you want. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you is the task that I've been using. Now this is a very manual task, and it just goes through basically what I've been going through in this webinar. I haven't used any of the automation things that you can use with tasks, but basically in each of these there's a so I have two groups here, and this is for a group. So there's a couple of groups here. I have an ArcGIS Pro overview group, create custom map group, a charts group, a layouts group, and a tasks group. And within there, you can have tasks. So let's see, you can create a new task here. So within some of these, there are steps. So I wanted to go through the ribbon-based interface in ArcGIS Pro, some of the contextual tabs, and how to arrange the user-face interface. And so it's just basically a similar thing for each of those, but these can be very customized, and you can get it then to automate steps in a process that you don't want your average user to have to do. So for example, if I were to open the task designer here, I have an option to set actions, and I can record, if I go back to my task, I can record commands. So let's say I want to just create a new map. You can get it to record that you want a new map to be created. You can also use the tools, any tools, geoprocessing tools, and you can get those to automate and pre-populate the fields within. And you can get different views, so you can set different maps to open when you get to a step, and you can make them active as well. And you can alter the contents as necessary. But the task that I created now was very, very simple. I just wanted to use it, manual steps, with just some instructions of what I wanted to do during the webinar. So I'm going to close those. Yeah, tasks are a great way to just help people along, and you can automate stuff with them as well. So it's a really good guide. Like I use it myself. If I do something regularly, it's very easy to forget steps. But if you have them detailed in a task and get them to autocomplete, it can be really useful. So I'm going to go through some of the Q&A now. That's pretty much all I have for the webinar side of things and the demo side of things. And I have some questions coming in. So the first question is, will working with the geodatabase data in ArcGIS Pro change the geodatabase compatibility with ArcMap? And the answer to that is no. You should be able to view your geodatabase data in both ArcMap and ArcGIS Pro. Next question is migration issues from desktop 10.1 ArcGIS Pro. Say MXDs, Python scripting, style files, scenes created in 3D Analyst. So you can import MXD files and SXDs, etc. Through the Insert tab and then Import Map. So then you go and you select your MXD and open it, and it will be added into your maps here. You can also import styles, and this will allow you to import a style file. Can you confirm Pro is now on a standalone license rather than through ArcGIS Online? Yeah, I can confirm that this has been added as an option, so you can still use named users for your licenses, but you can use, you also have the alternative of using the traditional single-use and concurrent-use licenses. So when Pro began, the only way to use it was by using licenses through ArcGIS Online, but now you can use single and concurrent-use licenses. I use a lot of extensions, example Spatial Analyst and ArcMap. Will these be integrated into ArcGIS Pro as well? And the answer is yes. So if you go into Analysis here and Tools, you can see my Tools pane here. And I can go into Toolboxes, and these are the various different toolboxes that are available to me. So for 3D Analyst, or was it Spatial Analyst? Okay, so Spatial Analyst is here, and if you like, you can compare them. Spatial Analyst is here. If you want to compare them with your ArcMap and just make sure that you have all your tools available, then you can do so. But yeah, they're all available, or the majority of them are available through ArcGIS Pro. Can you supply more information on further training demos in ArcGIS Pro? And absolutely I can. I'll send out an email further to this, and this will highlight some good training and highlight some ArcGIS Pro documentation which might be of use, and you'll also have this webinar if you ever want to look back on it. We also are running an ArcGIS Pro training course on the 10th and 11th of May. I think it's in Dublin. So if anyone's interested in that, please do feel free to get in touch. We'll also be running one in September, at the beginning of September. Does ArcGIS Pro use ArcCatalog, or is it integrated into Pro? So ArcCatalog is integrated into Pro now, along with a lot of other ArcGIS for desktop applications. For example, like Scene, ArcScene is now part of this. So yeah, it's managed through ArcGIS Pro. Are many of the geoprocessing tools available from Map available in Pro, or do you need to swap between ArcMap and ArcGIS Pro? And you can see here that most of the tools are available in ArcGIS Pro. There are some that aren't available, but you can look through them yourself and make sure they cater for your needs. If you need to be, then you can revert to ArcMap. But the majority of the tools are available in ArcGIS Pro now. Will ArcGIS Pro eventually replace ArcGIS Desktop? I mean, should we start migrating over to ArcGIS Pro? And that's a great question. And the answer is that ArcGIS Pro is meant to be used in side by side with ArcMap. There's no deprecation plans for ArcMap, and certainly in the near to long-term future, there's ArcMap will be there. But yeah, no, Pro is a really nice application. It's something I try to use as much as I can. And I would encourage people to go out there and try to use it, because it can improve some of your workflows, and it can be nicer to use. So I think that's all the questions. With that, I'm going to end the webinar. Thanks to everyone for tuning in, and I'll be sending out an email further to this, and it'll be in the comment section of the YouTube video as well. So if you want any links, you can get them from there. Thanks for joining me, and talk to you again soon.